Straddling the dusty border between Texas and New Mexico, the abandoned town of Glenrio stands as a fading monument to America's golden age of road travel. Once a lively stop along the legendary Route 66, Glenrio is now little more than a collection of crumbling buildings, rusting gas pumps, and weather-beaten signs, silent reminders of a time when the Mother Road was the lifeline of cross-country travel. Its story is one of ambition, boom, and inevitable decline, told through the skeletal remains of diners, motels, and service stations that once welcomed thousands of travelers. Glenrio was founded in 1903 as a small railroad community on the Chicago, Rock Island, and Pacific Railroad line. It began modestly, serving local farmers and cattle ranchers. But its fortunes changed dramatically in the 1920s when Route 66, America's Main Street, was carved right through its heart. Situated at the Texas-New Mexico border, Glenrio quickly became a bustling pit stop for motorists heading east or west. It had everything a road traveler could want: gas stations, cafes, motels, and even a small post office. The border location also gave it a quirky charm. Mail was sent from Texas, movies were shown in New Mexico, and the local bar sat on the New Mexico side to avoid Texas's stricter liquor laws. During the height of Route 66's popularity in the 1940s and 1950s, Glenrio thrived. Road-weary travelers could grab a burger at the Little Juarez Cafe, stay overnight at the State Line Motel, and gas up at the Texaco station before continuing their journey. Neon signs lit up the desert night, and the steady hum of engines was the soundtrack to life in the town. It was a place where locals and tourists mixed, where every building was a piece of the Route 66 experience. However, the same road that built Glenrio would also lead to its downfall. By the late 1960s, plans for the interstate highway system threatened to bypass small towns across America, and Glenrio was no exception. In 1973, Interstate 40 opened, diverting traffic away from Route 66 and effectively cutting off Glenrio's lifeline. Businesses closed almost overnight, and families moved away in search of opportunities elsewhere. Without the constant flow of travelers, the town's economy collapsed. By the mid-1980s, Glenrio was almost entirely deserted. Today, Glenrio is preserved in a kind of eerie stillness. Many of its buildings remain standing, though weathered and worn by decades of wind and sun. The State Line Motel still has its sign, though its rooms have long been empty. The old Texaco station sits with its pumps frozen in time, the prices a snapshot of another era. The Glenrio Welcome Center, once a cheerful point of entry for visitors, is silent. The road itself is cracked and overgrown in places, though the famous Route 66 shield can still be seen painted on the pavement. For history lovers and road trip enthusiasts, Glenrio offers a rare and authentic glimpse into the past. It is one of the best-preserved ghost towns along Route 66, precisely because it has been left largely untouched since its abandonment. The dry desert climate has helped slow the decay, and walking through the town feels like stepping into a forgotten photograph from the mid-20th century. Glenrio has even made its way into popular culture. It served as a filming location for several movies, including The Grapes of Wrath, 1940, and later inspired scenes in Pixar's Cars. In 2007, part of the town was listed on the National Register of Historic Places, recognizing its significance as a piece of America's roadside heritage. Preservation groups have shown interest in keeping its history alive, though much of Glenrio remains as it was when the last residents left. Visiting Glenrio is both haunting and captivating. There are no modern amenities, no bustling crowds, just the sound of the wind sweeping across the plains and the creak of abandoned buildings under the sun. Standing on the borderline, you can place one foot in Texas and the other in New Mexico, imagining the thousands of travelers who once passed through here on their way to somewhere new. It's a place where you can truly feel the spirit of Route 66, unspoiled by commercialization. Glenrio's story is a familiar one for many small towns across the United States that were built on the promise of highway travel. It is a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change and how progress often leaves pieces of history behind. Yet in its stillness, Glenrio has found a second life. as a living time capsule for road trip enthusiasts, photographers, and anyone seeking a genuine connection to America's past. For those making their own pilgrimage down what remains of Route 66, Glenrio is worth the stop. It may no longer offer a warm meal or a room for the night, but it offers something more enduring, a window into a time when the open road was king, and every small town had a story to tell.